Hey guys, what is up? NFL Weekly here, and today I'm going to discuss what I think is a weekly top 5 best teams right now. You know, we've seen such great performance out of really all these teams. A lot of great teams out there in the NFL right now, and I have to admit, you know, I'm impressed with a lot of these teams that are coming in, you know, and finally pumping their game up. You know, some teams still looked as bad, but, you know, winning games. I mean, you know, we got a lot of them. But, you know, here's my top 5, in my opinion, who the best teams are right now. So, I guess let's get right to it. Alright, guys. So, number 5 for me is Broncos. You know, I just feel like they've lacked definitely on their offense. Their offense just is not in a good place right now. I mean, their yards in general and just, I mean, the passing yards, let's see, 243 average passing yards. I mean, for a Bronco team, that just is not right at all. Okay? You know, this team is a team that, and back in 2012, especially, they were just the leader in yards overall, I believe, especially passing and crazy scores in games, and they would just blow teams out of the water. But, I mean, now if you really look at their stats, I mean, it's pretty ugly. I mean, rushing yards average of 94 or so, 27th in the league. Average passing yards, 243. That isn't very pretty. That's 17th in the league. Average yards in general, 337, 24th in the league. And average points, 22.2, 19th in the league. What I'm just trying to show you guys is, you know, Broncos, the reason why they're on this list is because of their defense. And their defense has brought them to an 8-2 record, which is the first in the AFC West. And that will get you a decently long way. They'll have some home field advantage, but they got to keep it up. So if Broncos keep it up, they'll stay on the list. They don't, they're out. And they just, something tells me their offense can't. And, you know, something tells me their defense really wants to keep going, but you can't. It's kind of like, you know, tracking like a dead animal. You can't always do it forever. And this team has got to get their offense together sooner or later, or they're going to be dead meat. So, number 5, Broncos. Alright, let's move ahead on this list. Number 4 I'm going to put on this list is going to be the Bengals. Now, this might surprise a few, considering they're also 8-2. You know, they've put on a great show in the NFL. Overall, they've not been a disappointment. And they started out 7-0 on their. They started out. Well, they ended before their losses. They were 8-0. Sorry, and they finally got 2 losses. All right, in a row. Now this team is just doing good forever, and they finally met their match. And you know, honestly, not to be rude to the Texans, but I was not expecting that loss. All right. This team is a great team, and I just don't know how they lost that. If you're wondering their stats, though, they have an average of 26 points a game. 26.6, actually. 5th in the league. Average yards, 376. 7th in the league. Passing yards, average of 262, which is 9th. And rushing yards, 113, which is also 12th in the league. So, this team, I mean, they've got great average points, you know, and they've got some good stats, but, I mean, from their performance, it's been great. I'm just wondering if your downfall will continue, you know. I mean, I'm not saying it's a big downfall, because that Cardinals game was pretty close towards the end. So they're really not a bad team, and they deserve to be up in the top 5, because they really are good. So, you know what, they're first in the AFC North. Overall, we're not that bad. So, yep, number 4 is going to be Bengals on my list. Alright, guys, let's continue with this, alright? Number 3 is going to be the Cardinals. Now, you know, people might tell me, you know, what are you talking about, you know? But Cardinals really are a good team, okay? I'm serious. Like, this team is real. You saw, I don't know if you guys saw my other video, but, man, I talked a lot about them and their offense, especially. They continue it, that they will be unstoppable, alright? Unstoppable. This team is intense, okay? So passing yards is 297.6, and if you're wondering, that is 4th in the league. All right, They have an average yards of 417.3, which is second in the league. Points, average points, 33.6 average points, which is also second in the league. Alright, rushing yards, 119.7, average 10th in the league. Now, this is not... The rushing yards is their biggest faulty, which is only 10th, which is still pretty good. Alright, this team, besides their rushing yards per game, is still over 4th. Still, meaning they're over 4th, so they have ranked second, and 4th, and 10th. Now that's good. Alright. This team is serious. This team, 8-2, one of the other great teams, first in the NFC West. The Seattle Seahawks trailing, but they still keep the league and they're still going strong. So I can tell you this right here, right now. This team is great, and they keep it up, they'll be unbeatable. So keep up the good offense and overall defense too. Great team, Arizona Cardinals on number 3. Now on number 2, we've got the Carolina Panthers. Now this one might be expected. Great expectation. Well, expected. This is very expected for number 2. Sorry about that. You know, this team is just so great, and they're complete with a defense and an offense. And you know, this team comes in with an offense that's really great too. I mean, they got an average of the 5th rushing yards in the league, 139.9, which is the 5th, like I said, rushing yards. And passing yards, they've got 214.3, which is 28th. So not their highlight, but you know, hey. Yards overall, 354.2, which is 15th in the league. And points per game, 29.9, which is 3rd in the league. So that's not a disappointment, in my opinion. And overall, this team's going to keep going. And, you know, you don't really need to look at their stats. You just need to first look at that record, 10-0, beautiful record. You know, this team's going to keep going strong, along with their defense. You know, I'm just stating offense in this game, or in this video so far, but, you know, they got a great defense, too. Alrighty, guys, and number 1, you expected it, I know you did, the Patriots. Now, you may have heard, but, you know, I'm sure you've heard this before, great offense in the Patriots. Alright, let's look at these stats. The stats of the New England Patriots. 9-0 team tonight. They're going to keep going, 9-0, but 10-0. And points per game, well, 33.7. Okay? That is number 1, and that is not a question. 33.7 is crazy. That is a lot of points in the game. Alright? And I don't know how the defense they've played against, but that's good. 33.7 is pretty good. Not gonna lie. Let's move on. Yards per game. 418.7 yards, which is also first. Both first place. Wow, 418.7. That's pretty crazy. For the first yards per game, passing yards is another first. 325.9 average passing yards per game. Wow, 325.9 for first. That's outrageous. Rushing yards they're definitely the down point, 92.8 here yards. That's what they are. They're number 20. They're 28th in the league, which is definitely a disappointment. But you know, they've got the passing game down. And like we saw in the New York game, close, but they finally put out a pass to get close enough in the 54-yard attempt, something like that. You know, this team they got together. You know, they're coming out on some close wins, but 9-0 is 9-0. All right, 10-0 is 10-0 now. Sorry guys, I uploaded this on Monday night, so I'm kind of fiddling around with what I'm seeing. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. That is my top 5. Again, number 5 Broncos, number 4 Bengals, number 3 Cardinals, number 2 Panthers, and number 1 Patriots. And that is my opinion on this video, guys, and the league. So once again, guys, have a spectacular day, night, whatever, and see you later.